Hello everybody, welcome to the fascinating world of astrology. In this video I want to review 2018's tennis tour, ATP, WTA, and have a look at some amazing results, tournaments, with the focus on Jupiter and the Sun, because, well, Jupiter is, of course, the bringer of the big prize, the grand honors, the celebrations, and in general, yeah, well, among other things, but let's not, to put it really simple, Jupiter is bringing sugar and spice and all things nice kind of thing. And this is most strongly seen when Jupiter meets the Sun, because of course the Sun is the center of life, or the core of life, and also in the chart kind of the center of the person's life presented in their chart. So that's an amazing series, has been with winners of tournaments who met their Jupiter during their work, during their tennis. And yeah, we're going to go through some examples of this. So, starting off with a bit of out of the pattern here, but to get into things, this is the birth chart from Kozlova, a tennis player from Ukraine, Katerina Kozlova. And this is something I came live into, kind of thing, by accident, because during Paris Grand Slam tournament last summer, she happened to beat the former champion Ostapenko from the year before in quite surprising way. She was 9-1 outsider on this match and kicked her out of the tournament still. You see here in her birth chart Jupiter, and the fact that Jupiter in the air was quite about that point. And really, when the match started, this snapshot kind of thing is really when the match was going in the first or second set or so, and the moon really is touch on the Jupiter of her birth chart for noon. So she started on that day with that moon, Jupiter conjunct her natal Jupiter, and had this amazing success, which was pretty amazing, striking, and interesting to watch live. So that was, yeah, quite an amazing thing. And got me interested, of course, in this Jupiter thing, and started to follow this during the coming time. And this is, there was a tournament in San Jose in California, and that was in 5th of August. And you see Jupiter by this time was in 14 Scorpio. And this tournament, this went of course through 1 week, was won by a Romanian player Bujanescu. And you see she was born with Sun conjunct Jupiter herself in Taurus, so, and the Sun is on 1426, and Jupiter on that Sunday or Saturday when the final was exact opposing her Sun. Check again, this is 1426, and for the final Jupiter was on 1420, so extra close. That was the victory, tournament victory for Mihaela Bujanescu at San Jose. So it was, next example soon later, was in the end of August in New Haven, also USA, Connecticut, I think. There was a tournament, and Jupiter was a bit further. You see here now it is on 1620, and there was a player who was playing well all last year, I think, but this tournament she won, and her name was Sabalenka, Arina Sabalenka, I think from, what's her name, from Russia, from Belarus, from Weißrussland we say in German, I don't know what the English say. So Sabalenka, you see herself born with the Sun and Mars in midst of Taurus, and Jupiter was at 16, as I said. And here for her we have the Sun at almost 15, and but Mars is with it, and this Mars is on 1634. So here, for example, the orb between the Sun and Jupiter is a bit more than a degree, but of course you have to take Mars into account as well. And in this case, you have to, like, you can work with a bigger orb, so to say. So it's again Jupiter opposing the Sun. And before rushing too fast here through these examples, of course, it's we have to take note that opposition is not like a problem or bad thing, but it's just okay to have Jupiter opposing or meet your Sun by opposition, as it would be to have Jupiter conjunct your Sun. Why that is, well, that would be another topic, and I don't want to get too far away from the sport and from the facts only here, so I'll leave it with that. Next example is from, like, how to say, second league tennis, or third league even, is ETF tournament. And I took notice of that because a German player won this, and this happened in Biarritz. The tournament was in Biarritz in September, and Jupiter moved forward. It's now 19 Scorpio, and that tournament was won by Tamara Korpatsch, a German player. I don't know, who spent a holiday in south of France or so, and by the way won the tournament there, I suppose. And you see in her chart again, the Sun is at 21 and a bit, Taurus. And here, I think it's a bit more than a degree, but well, it still worked. Jupiter is at 1930. It's a bit 1.5 degree or something. Yeah, that was, I don't know, she doesn't win tournaments ever so often, so that was major success for her, I think. And something else. Yes, I wanted to make the point that in this figure Jupiter is tied in close in this trine with the Sun and Pluto as well, and this may also be a reason to raise the orb that you consider towards the Sun, because this, like, makes the whole thing stronger, kind of thing. That's what I think about that. And so we move on during the year and come to a tournament in Hong Kong that happened took place in October, and by this time Jupiter was at 2438 Scorpio. And this tournament was won by a young woman, I think, from 2000, born in the year 2000, and her name is Diana Yastremska, and she's from Ukraine, I believe this is, yes. So Diana Yastremska won this tournament at Hong Kong, and you see, once again, her Sun is at 2449 Taurus. What a miracle. Go back to the event chart for the final. Jupiter is at 2438. That's less than 10 minutes separate, so pretty amazing. One more time. But there's even more. Now we go to some of the male players, the ATP players, and Kevin Anderson, South African, had made mega headlines during Wimbledon before already, when he only had to, like, leave the trophy to Djokovic and came out second at Wimbledon. But then sometime later in this tournament in Wien, of course, no comparison to Wimbledon, but, well, he won the final, and he won it against Nishikori, and he was 3-1 outsider, but still he won. And this is extra impressive because You see here, Jupiter is at the end of October, it was at 2736. Scorpio, and let's see for Kevin Anderson where his sun happens to be, and look at this, it's at 2737. So this is exact to the minute, so to say, and he won the tournament, and he won that match against Nishikori, who was considered much stronger. Nevertheless, Kevin Anderson won with Jupiter meeting his sun. So, there still was one more example from 2018, because the Paris Masters, so the Paris Indoor Tournament, happened in November. And this was with Jupiter almost leaving sign, now on 29 Scorpio. And there was a guy named Kachanov, and forgot his first name now, never mind. This is his chart, that's for sure, for noon. And you see that the sun is at 0 Gemini. Now, we work with noon charts, and maybe he was an early bird born shortly after midnight or so. The sun could be almost in Taurus still. Jupiter is in Scorpio. This is like, maybe it was not a straight opposition in terms of opposing signs, but nevertheless, apparently it seems to work as well. And it worked pretty impressive as well for him, because in the final he also was 6-1 outsider, and he actually won over Novak Djokovic, who hardly lost any match in that last year. But there he only came out second, and Kachanov won the biggest title of his career, I believe. So you see Jupiter at 29 opposing Kachanov's sun. Pretty close. Yeah, no, this is, I think personally that this is quite impressive stuff. Of course there are some other stories, and of course you cannot just pick up a tennis racket and win some tournament when Jupiter comes around the sun, but if you happen to try to win and do all the work for it, then this is the best time to go for it and win. So, as I started with kind of out of the pattern example, Kozlova winning with her Moon Jupiter on Jupiter, I will finish now with off pattern example, stand-alone example, and this was of course Novak Djokovic, who did win Wimbledon 2018, and he won it not with like Jupiter in contact with the sun, but there are other possibilities, I guess. And for him, Jupiter during the summer and during final was right on his MC, the point of success, career, and celebrations, so to say. So he was good for winning, yeah, Wimbledon again after, I don't know, last year's break or so. This is the day when the final happened. You see Jupiter was on 13-22, and Djokovic once again, let's see, it was within a degree. And of course, important to mention that this is not a noon chart, but it's an AA rated birth chart from Novak Djokovic. And well, maybe it would be worth to take a closer look. There's some other stuff going on. I just want to mention that the sun, this is the progressions outside you see here. And for this year, this progress sun was meeting Mars, the lord of the MC of his career start.